Hey everyone, this week it is Men's Health Week. So I wanted to talk about men's mental health. And men, we know what men are like. If you're watching this, men, we know that you're very reluctant to seek help. Is it a pride thing? Perhaps. Who knows? But I believe that is one of the massive reasons why there's so limited statistics on mental health for men. And the statistics that there are actually shocking. They're just... Men are more likely to commit suicide than women. According to statistics, 6% of fathers have mental health problems, and 1 in 8 men suffer with mental health conditions. I think the number's bigger. Personally, I think that us women, we're much more in touch with our emotions. That's how our brains are wired. This isn't a criticism of men. Our brains are built in a different way, and so we naturally are much more in touch with our own emotions. So we know when something's wrong. We know when we're out of sync, and we don't feel any shame in going and asking, or at least talking about it, and then seeking help. Men, on the other hand, they're very logical. If a problem arises, they will do whatever they can to fix the problem. With mental health, that doesn't always work, and sometimes you need to reach out for help. I think that personally plays a massive factor in why the figures are so different, and why there's such... We only know about the suicides because obviously if someone commits suicide, that's automatically classified as a mental health problem. We don't know about all the men that are out there that are suffering in silence. We don't know about the guys who are feeling really depressed, but they're laughing it off with their mates, or when their partner's saying to them, something's not right, you need to go to the doctors, they're saying, I'll be all right, it's just a bad week at work, or I'm tired, whatever their reason. And as women, we play a role in this, and it is hard. I mean, I've tried to get men to seek doctors' advice and appointments, and they're stubborn, to say the least. But we need to be more firm about it, and if they won't go and see someone, we can go and see someone on their behalf and ask how we can best support them. And there's lots of hints and tips out there that you can do to support your man or woman who is suffering with mental health problems. But I really want to talk about men's mental health, and with it being Mental Health Week, it seems like a perfect time to do so. I've been asking questions on my wall about mental health. I've had a few comments from men. It's very interesting to hear what they have to say and what their own perspective is on it. And I think generationally, men have always felt like they need to be the strong one. They need to be the one who doesn't fall apart, who doesn't cry, who basically has to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. And so that can make it really hard. That can make it really hard for a man if they've constantly been told from a little boy. If you've got boys and you're telling them, come on, be a big boy when they're crying, all that, you're reinforcing these stereotypes, and that can make it really hard that when they feel like, you know what, I just want to burst into tears, they have to push that inside, and we all know that that's not healthy. It will come out in other ways. One of the ways it was described to me is that when you push your emotions down, it's like a bottle of pop. Everything's still in there, and eventually what will happen is the more gas or negative feelings that you add to the bottle, eventually pop goes the bottle, and eventually pop goes the person who has been trying to push down all these emotions. And that's why often the statistics are more severe for men, because they don't get help until they go pop. And this is massive. This is something that we need to be thinking about with our children. Like I said, it's very hard. We do tend to reinforce stereotypes accidentally. We have, certainly my age, we had like He-Man, and obviously later came She-Ra, but He-Man, there's army men, all big, strong men who don't talk about their feelings, they don't talk about their emotions, and so children learn that. Children end up thinking that they can't talk about these things, they bottle it up, and then they pop. And this is why it can be a problem. On top of that, you've also got the added hormone of testosterone, which increases like aggression levels for males, and so people who commit violent crimes actually could well be misdiagnosed with, well, not misdiagnosed, but could have mental health problems. And you will find prisons full of people with mental health conditions. And I am not condoning any of their action, none whatsoever. Whatever they've done, they're still responsible for that. But I'm just saying that I'm quite fascinated with some of like the serial killer programs, and you always find that when they go back through their history, mental health crops up. There's something in their past that, whether it be abusive parents or a particularly traumatic incident that happens that triggers, and then don't receive the support that they should. I apologise, that's my home phone going. And so mental health for boys can be quite difficult, and it's not something that they necessarily speak out loud. And I think that, again, this is something we need to address for our children. We need to know them to know that it's okay to feel that they want to cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to show your emotions. It's perfectly okay to be upset, and show them how to deal with those emotions so they don't go pop. And anyway, that's my feelings on it. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. How can we encourage men to speak out more about mental health? What have your experiences been? Have you found it difficult to talk about it? Or I'd love to know. Get involved. And if you want to speak in private, obviously you can do as well. But take care, everyone.